Hello and welcome to episode 22 Pacific Horseplayers right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. I'm your host, Noah Meagher, joined by my good friend and wonderful co-host, Mr. Ryan Anderson, as I'll get to see him soon out in Vegas at the NHC. As you can see, I added a little note at the bottom of Ryan's nameplate. He will be participating in the Last Chance, First Chance. So good luck to him in that. And then if any of you viewers are out in Vegas this weekend, of course, we will be there. So don't be shy. Feel free to come say hi. This week's episode will be covering the Coast to Coast Pick 5 for Saturday, March 15th. The sequence actually just came out about an hour ago. So had to do a little bit of scrambling and a little bit of speed capping, but we've got our picks in. We've got our stuff ready to go. So we're going to get that started shortly. Before we do that, let's go through our admin. Of course, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. Power Picks tip sheet. 212 ROI plus. They've been doing very well for the past couple months so far to start the year off 2025. So go check those out. And then you can go purchase those and find out more about the podcast at HHHRacingPodcast.com. Of course, all of the good stuff, hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell. We are very close to 5,000 subscribers. I don't actually know the exact number. But I know it's getting up there, so make sure you go do that. Hit that button. We would greatly appreciate it. Ryan, before we get into our sequence, we have a very exciting announcement. There were some teasers out. I know you put a teaser out on your show earlier today, so if you didn't go check that out, go check that out. There is a little teaser from our good friend Jim Plarz in the chat. But let's go ahead and bring him on, the newest member of the HHH Racing Podcast. Good friend, Jackson Muniz. What's going on? Welcome to the show, my friend.
What's up, guys? First time here. Excited to join you.
Excited to have you on. It's a great milestone. Definitely on to help Ryan and I out because I've certainly been struggling lately. Ryan says that I'm extremely cold. Well,
I don't say that. The facts say that.
Okay, well, this is what the people say. Katie says she's ready for the party. Jim with the teaser, official welcome to Jackson on his expanded role with the HHH family. Oh, hey, Ryan and Noah as well. There is the boss. I'll second that, Jim. Welcome officially, Jackson. So good to have Jackson as part of the crew. And a lot of all of our gray hoodies on, the Groutfits, Groutfit gang. I'm never going to say that again. But anyway, let's go ahead and get right into the sequence.
Off to a hot start.
Yeah, let's do it. Coast to Coast Pick 5 starts with this race right here. Race 10 at Gulfstream, 5:20 Eastern time. Allowance optional claiming 62.5. Field of 12 and 4 AEs. 13, 14, 15, and 16 are all AEs. But 12 horses in the main body of the field. Turf is at 31 feet, or the rail's at 31 feet, excuse me. So make a note of that. They're also running for a purse of $97,000. I'll go ahead and get our picks up on the screen. Here are our picks for the first leg. I'm 1-8-12. Ryan's going 2-1-7. And Jackson is going 1-2-12. Jackson, it's only fitting that you would go with the same horse as me as your first official race. I remember my first official race. I actually had a winner, and I haven't had a winner since then. So let's go ahead and get it kicked off with the number one. Move on up. What'd you like about this filly?
It's a tough race. I mean, it's wide open. They all look kind of similar to me. I just really wanted a horse that was going to be drawn well on the inside, has some tactical speed, and kind of guaranteed to get a good trip because she seems like the one that is most likely to trip out in this spot. I know she hasn't run in a while, but her turf form is really good. I mean, the race 3 back at Churchill, she beat Spartan Queen and Miss Disaster. They're 2 good horses. The one at Saratoga, she didn't have a great trip that day, but still ran okay behind, Cinderella's Dream and Catherine Marissa. Those horses would be, 3 to 5 in this spot. I mean, those horses are much, much, much better than what she's facing in here. So it's a bit of a question mark off the layoff. I think you'll still get somewhat of a decent price in here just because it is so wide open. But if she's able to move forward from those 2 efforts over the summer, I mean, those are good, strong numbers compared to what these horses have been running recently in this race. So she can improve. If she can run back to those, she'll be competitive. If she improves up those, she's very, very tough to beat.
The weird thing with her is, she could definitely improve, like you said, but also there's really not a ton of form to go off of. So it's not like the question is, how much can you trust her? Sure. Ryan, maybe we trust her a little bit more than you. Obviously, you got her in second. Anything else to add with this horse?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the horse to beat from the rail. Jackson mentioned the company kept in that last first start, 2 back in the Oaks Invitational up at Saratoga. Obviously, kind of lays over this field, but maybe she just needs one off the bench, and that's kind of what I'm banking on with my top pick on the 2.
Let's go to the horse that is directly outside of her. That's the 2 De Regresso. Edwin Gonzalez, Antonio Sano was a little overhead last time, didn't really run as well, but certainly gets some class relief here.
Yeah, certainly get some class relief. This one's just kind of the recency form. I think the 1 and the 2, if they were both kind of in racing shape, I'd go to the 1. But just with the 1 coming off the bench, I want to go to the 2. Has some numbers to get back to. Obviously, you'll scratch through the last because that was just a much tougher field. So gets in with what I believe her friends are. She's already cleared this condition, so she's in for the tag. But, I mean, she's faced Stakes Company, and she hasn't gotten through. So, I mean, what else are you really going to do with her at this point? So I don't really have an issue with her being listed for the tag. Who knows if she gets claimed or not, but I think she fits at this level. And I think similar to Jackson's and yours top pick with the 1, I think she's going to sit a pretty similar trip. I'm just hoping the 2 trips out more than the 1.
Yeah, she's definitely got some tactical speed that could put her in a really good spot. I know last week Edwin Gonzalez had a really nice winner. He's been riding well on the turf the last couple of weeks as some of the better jockeys have just kind of dispersed themselves over the course of the country just to pick up some derby points and to get on some live rides. Jackson, I guess maybe the only other worry with her is this is her kind of first real spot facing older horses. But obviously you don't think that's too big of an obstacle.
No, because I mean, her numbers look pretty competitive, even with the older horses. I think for her, she's finally got a good post. I mean, this whole meet, she's been post 9 out of 12, post 9 out of 11, post 11 out of 11. And she, besides the last one where she was just in overhead, she really didn't run that badly in those spots either. So it seems like one that's going to finally be able to save a little bit of ground. She's going to get forward, and that a lot of times that's kind of all that matters on the Gulfstream Turf course.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. We'll go from the 1 and 2 posts all the way out to the 12 posts. This is a horse that I have in third. You have in third as well, Jackson. That's the 12. I have no idea how to pronounce it. Verve. If Charlie was with us, which unfortunately he was supposed to be, but due to illness, he will not be joining us, which is such a bummer. Charlie, so I can just give you shit. But yeah, this is kind of a similar angle where she's been parked out wide a little bit. She gets parked out wide again, but has certainly has some numbers to go back to, Jackson.
Yeah, she's the one that I think if this pace really heats up, she'll be the one that's coming from way out of it. And obviously the last one wasn't great, but her form prior to that was pretty good. And at least the last race, if I'm not mistaken, that was one of those merry-go-round races where just the speed, just no one did any kind of running from the back of the pack. So don't want to be too harsh on her for that one. She obviously loves that course. Besides that, she's been in the exacta all 3 times besides the poor effort. So again, if it heats up, she can fly in late at a price that I'd imagine. I think she'll be 8-1 just from the post alone, maybe 10.
Probably. The nice thing about her is it just seems like Sisterson thought a lot of her, and she was in some really nice races as a 3-year-old filly. I mean, she's in the Lake George. She's only a length off of Pounds, who's been in some great stakes at Gulfstream over the winter. Music City was a nice race, and the fact that Sisterson kind of gives her a break after the long campaign, I think you're going to see a better side of her. So looking for her to maybe close into what could be maybe some pace, some horses to the inside end up going. This is a horse that I was a little bit interested in. This horse I have in second. That's the 8 Mo Fox Given. This is actually another horse that Charlie Freeman's a big fan of just because of some of her previous runs down at Santa Anita. But she's got numbers to go back to as well. I know she was pretty big prices in some of those efforts, and she doesn't necessarily love to get in the winner's circle, but she's got 84, 83, 86, 87 on the page, and in some similar races to the 12 and some others in terms of numbers and quality. So I think you can scratch that last race. That was just a start to get her back on the track. It was on the Tapeta. Second off the bench, she gets back to a surface that she likes, and Johnny V hops aboard. So I think you could expect better things from the 8, Bo Fox Kibben, which is why I've got her in second. Last horse we'll touch on is this horse, Ryan. You've got the 7 in third. Speedy type for Joel Rosario and Dale Romans.
Yeah, it's always a risk taking Joel Rosario, but I'm hoping he gets out to the lead, takes him nice and slow around there. And I will say, if Rosario's in the right place, he can finish better than just about any other jockey. So I'm hoping he just, we get one of those patented Joel Rosario kind of walks the dog on the front end. This runner definitely does her best running up there. Last time out, you can scratch through that. She didn't get the lead because she ran into a monster in Kehoe Beach, and all she does is win on the front end. I'm looking forward to seeing her back, hopefully at Keeneland. Poolside with Slim 2 back, ran pretty good against her, but Poolside with Slim just a kind of a better horse. So comes in off the break, and I think this is a good spot for her. I know she's 0 for 2 over the Gulfstream turf course, but both of those are kind of coming from off the pace, and I don't think that's where she does anywhere close to her best running. So I got to rely a lot on Joelle putting this one on the lead, but I guess I'll roll the dice with that one here. But I think if she gets out there, she's going to be tough to catch.
I like it. Speed's been playing well at Gulfstream on the turf. She's kind of similar where she gets a break. She's been in some really nice races. She was only a length and a quarter off in the Valley View. I remember that race back in October. I'm pretty sure I was there because I was there like all week, or not all week, all meet. And I intend to be there all meet in the spring. Looking forward to that and having these boys below me come out for that.
14 days. Get ready.
Trying to figure that out though. I'm gonna be so sick of Ryan. And it's just.
Yeah. After like day 4, and then you're gonna realize,
I know.
I still have 10 days.
Oh shit, 10 more days.
Racing Down to Win is here. Good evening, all NHG week. Everyone wanted to throw that up, and then there was one more I wanted to throw up. This is from Steve Pogal. In honor of Jackson, I'm hoping for in-depth coverage of the Muniz next week on Louisiana Derby Day. Jackson, think you can do that for us? Maybe like a initiation.
Yeah. Gigante probably wins that race, so you can just block that in right now.
Gigante or Gigante?
It depends.
You would think of all people, you would be.
Yeah, we're asking you. So wouldn't it be Gigante?
It depends who you ask. The horse or the giant?
I'm asking you.
I say Gigante just because the announcers always say it that way, but really it's not pronounced that way.
Yeah, it's we'll go ahead and move on. Race 10 in Gulfstream, I'm going 1-8-12. Ryan's going 2-1-7, and Jackson's going 1-2.
Also, it does look like Kehoe Beach will run at Keeneland, but She Feels Pretty will not. It does not seem so. It doesn't seem like we're going to get that matchup we've been waiting for.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Maybe Breeders' Cup.
Maybe Breeders' Cup.
Next race of the sequence is down in Arcadia, California at Santa Anita, race 4, 235 local, allowance optional claiming 20,000 versus 67,000. 1 mile on the turf course. I believe, the rails are down. Rails are down on Saturday at Santa Anita. Field of 9, as you see on the screen, the morning line favorite. A tepid choice at 9-5, the 2 Ultimate High, Umberto Ruspoli, Carla Gaines. We are very familiar with that horse. Just to her inside is the second choice, the 1 Princesa del Tigre for Asa Espinoza and Tim McKenna. Picks her up on the screen now. I'm going 1-5-2, Ryan 5-1-3, and Jackson also 5-1-3. Ryan, will go to you this time. You're in lockstep with Jackson, and you both have the 5. Nothing is forever. Frey and Mathis going from dirt to turf.
Yeah, Jackson, I'm curious to see your thoughts on this one. This is just kind of the fresh face angle for me. The rest of these runners come out of a common race on turf that I absolutely despise, and I am sure you guys feel similar. This runner has figures on dirt that certainly match up. Grayson obviously can handle dirt, turf, synthetic, whatever you throw at him. So I want to see Nothing is Forever get back onto turf versus this level. I think she's a lot more improved than her summer efforts last year. She's 4 now. She's clearly still kind of held some good form. So Mathis is having a really strong meet. He knows where to place his horses. And Kyle Frey is one of the stronger turf riders out there. But if you ask, the host of this show, Armando Ayuso on the number 6 is the greatest in the colony or whatever.
No under was about 1835 and it's 1458. So
yeah,
under.
No, you weren't going to get through this show without hearing that a little bit. But to stick on with Nothing is Forever, yeah, I think getting to turf, she's the fresh face, in here, and she certainly knows how to find the winner's circle and run a good race. That she's in the money 6 of 9 times, so it was on top for me.
I think this is a pretty nice pick in terms of this Jackson. the name Nothing is Forever, which means that there might be some co-host switching. Nothing is forever. Ryan might be off the show. Anyway, Jackson, you got the 5 as well. 6-1, nice price. Anything else to add?
Yeah, I thought I was being a little clever with this pick, but we all have her pretty high up there. So, look, the three turf races were fine, especially the maiden score. She really had no business running down that horse that crawled on the front end that day, and she still got the job done. And she's run perfectly fine on the dirt since then. So she makes some sense in here. She doesn't have to be, 100 lengths out of it like she has been in the past. And listen, this field's not that great. I think you get some serious questions about the favorites in this spot, especially the 2. Ultimate High, who I didn't think she had any excuse last year. She got a perfect ride, perfect trip, and just was second best that day. So I'd try to beat her at a short price in here. So why not take a chance at a horse that's going to be 6-1?
No, I like it, and I think she's just a better horse now. I mean, obviously those turf efforts are bad, but she's got mid to high 70 buyers on the page, so I don't see why she can't match that on the turf. And Ryan made a good point. The Graysons obviously can kind of do both. So I think 6-1 is definitely an appealing price, maybe a little lower than that, but still certainly one that I would use as a part of the ticket. And I think all of us have on the ticket. Next horse that we will talk about is this horse, real draw for the 1 Princesa del Tigre. Like I said, Asa Espinosa, Tim McKenna, who's started to heat up a little bit more. I know he was a little slow when they started the winter meet down at Santa Anita. And obviously, you can see by the stats, he's a very good trainer, up north, 22% last year. Just a slow start to Santa Anita, but now starting to fire. This is a horse that's actually been off since June, so haven't seen her for a while, but works are good in the mornings. Jackson, I'll go to you with this one. She's got numbers that are good enough to win this race. Just, I guess, a question of whether she can do that on turf.
Yeah, I think she can. I mean, I know the turf efforts came early in her career, but she was pretty consistent on the dirt turf and synthetic. So I don't see why it won't translate at this point in her career. The other thing is she has a lot of tactical speed compared to the other horses in this race. There's really not much of it. So I'd expect them to be pretty aggressive. She's going to be fresh coming off of a, 8-month layoff. So get her forward in this spot and then just see what you have left in the tank coming from home.
Should save every inch of ground, just being on the rail. She's lost to Tam's Little Angel Ryan twice, who I think won not that long ago. But if you just look at her form lines and just kind of not pay too much attention to the fact that some of her better numbers on synthetic, she's got some really nice form lines. And I think we're kind of in agreement that that similar turf race was just kind of bad. So looking for other ways to go. And this is one that you also have in second.
Yeah, I mean, 10 combined second and third place finishes, so just kind of makes some sense underneath. Comes in off a layoff, so she might not have, all the stamina, although McKenna does a great job getting these horses ready off over 180-day layoffs, hitting at about 20%. But I thought this was one I could kind of just play against in here, similar to the 2. Again, top choice is the 5, but I think this one makes a lot of sense, and even if she doesn't fire her A effort, I think a B+ effort still puts her pretty close, so I didn't want to dismiss her too much.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty straightforward race, at least from what the panel thinks. You guys have this horse who's definitely going to be a price. This is the 3. She's Misbehaving. 15-1 on the line. Tyler Bays, Jorge Gutierrez, who's 0-for-7 at the meet, but certainly capable of hitting the price. Jackson, we'll start with you. Just a miler through and through, and certainly one to hit the board.
Yeah, this is one I want to use underneath. I'm not going to use in the coast to coast, but just when you look at her last 3 races at this level, she didn't really have a great trip in any of them. They weren't, ideal, and she still hit the board in all 3 of those efforts. So definitely one I think you can key underneath at a pretty big price, and she's very consistent, and so I would use her underneath very confidently.
Ryan, I'll give you final thoughts. Any thoughts on the 3 you've got in third? Any thoughts on the favorite, who neither of you have in the top 3, or anybody else?
On the 3, I thought I was being creative, and then Jackson and I, again, we're just in lockstep today. You should have seen us over on Get Bucked. All of our picks were so similar. So hopefully that bodes well for this weekend. But yeah, for the number 2 Ultimate High, this was just a strong play again. She's going to take a bunch of money in here, as she should, but I don't want to play this horse. Maybe underneath. If I were to play vertically, I would probably key this horse second or third. But yeah, Jackson nailed it. This horse had a perfect trip and just couldn't finish with Umberto Rispoli last time. So I'll fade this horse today, and if she wins in the coast to coast, then she'll beat me.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to stand. I mean, she's 8 now, and no excuse last time. She hasn't been in the winner's circle for a long time, so I think that price might even float up because I think you don't have to be a super astute handicapper to kind of realize that she's a little up against it. But in race 4, I'm going 1-5-2, Ryan 5-1-3, and Jackson also 5-1-3. Third leg of the coast to coast goes back to Gulfstream Park. This race right here is the finale at Gulfstream, 6:20 Eastern. It is a terrific maiden claiming 25,000, purse of 30,500. Mile and a 16th on the turf. Again, the rails are at 31 feet, so make note of that. Another big field at 12. And the morning line favoritism in this race, most likely either the 8 Fountain Run or the 11 Chill the J. Let's see who we are going with in this leg C. I'm 3-11-8. Ryan is also 3.
Wow.
And Jackson is 7-6-3. Jackson, will go back to you with 7. The great
Are you
Oscar.
sure Ryan handicapped, or do you just copy our picks?
Whoa, I didn't even see your picks.
Crazy.
Well, I want to hear what you have to say about this horse, Jackson, because obviously the class is there, but I can't tell you that honestly I've ever even heard of Bracho or Romero. So please enlighten me and tell us why this horse is going to get the job done.
I gotta admit, I haven't either, and I think that's just no one else has probably, I'm sure, and that's just gonna help the price. I mean, I think on paper this is clearly the best horse in the field, coming out of the much stronger races over at Tampa Bay Downs. And when you look at his races, he's kind of been closing from way out of it. He's kind of been against the race flow in both of those starts. The 1-2 back especially, that was a race where he finished 4th that day. But the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th place finishers were in the top 4 throughout the race. He's the only horse that made any kind of move in that spot. And the race last time was not quite as severe, but it was still pretty similar. And now this is just a big drop in class. This is not a good field. A lot of them are coming out of the same race at Gulfstream that to me looked pretty bad. So blinkers going on. I just think he's going to be the class. He's going to have every opportunity to get the job done. And it's going to be a much better price because nobody is too familiar with these connections.
I got a question for you. What price do you get at post time?
Ooh. I mean, I think he's going to be like 6-1.
I honestly have no idea.
Yeah.
I was going to say about 8.
These are the types of horses that I wish I was, I would never be a morning line maker because these I would certainly screw up. And this is quite the race. Yes, Jim, I did say terrific because, horses are horses and you got to get
terrific betting race.
Yes, exactly. So that's the 7. Let's go to the horse that you and I have on top, Ryan. This is the horse right here, the 3. Milazzo, Antonio Sano, and Dylan Davis hops on this time. This authentic colt, $75,000 purchase, Keeneland September sale. Second time off the bench, 3rd start of the career, blinkers on. Just a lot of things to like, I think, especially with Dylan hopping on.
Yeah, showed some improvement last time out, switching over to synthetic as that race was off the turf. So clearly this was the intention. Dylan Davis on blinkers should put this horse forward, if not on the lead. Dylan has been really aggressive, obviously all summer up in New York, but he's continued that trend down in Florida during the winter, now into spring, I guess. So I'm looking for this one to get forward. This is kind of one of those races where, horses may not want to finish in front. Might be more of a kind of herd animal kind of mentality towards the end. So I want this one that's going to be forward. I did really respect Jackson's pick. I gave that 7 a look, but yeah, I just hadn't ever seen those connections before, which I guess shouldn't steer me off the horse, but I was certainly curious. Anyway, Sano gets blinkers on for this one, so I like it. Should fit well at this level, second off the bench, second time Lasix.
Yeah, I thought his race last time was a little sneaky. He was kind of mid-pack and then made it kind of an early move and then just flattened out. But that was off a little bit of a layoff. He was looking for turf, didn't get it, got rained off that day, and they kind of wheel him back pretty quick. It'll actually be, a little over a week, maybe a week and a half. So I think he's just kind of ready to go. So that didn't really take a ton out of him. Jackson, what was that? Did I miss that?
10 days.
Oh, 10 days. Okay. 10 days. Little butterfly. Go Birds. Let's go to this horse. Ryan and I actually have this horse in the mix. I'll go back to you, Ryan. It's this one. The 8 Fountain Run. I don't know. I think somebody said this early on in the show. Todd Pletcher is actually suspended for his, I don't know what it was. But this horse ran just as honest as he could last time. was this first start in main 25, just lost by a neck. But I thought the race was a little skeptical, which is why I've gotten him in third. Ryan, I want to hear what you thought.
Yeah, off the, to the assistant trainer because he can't give betamethasone to a horse. So, yeah, I like this one, Fountain Run. This one last time showed something decent for this level. Saya sticks aboard, which you like to see. I don't know. This is kind of a logical second choice. Has improved in the 3 starts. So I think fourth start probably gets the job done here. Lost a little bit of ground and was bumped a little bit last time, going 7.5 as that turn comes up pretty quickly. You definitely want to be towards the inside in those types of races. So, gets post 8 again here, but they're going 1 1/16. So that's a considerable amount more of a run up to the turn. So Saya should be able to get some forward position, should be able to be kind of no wider than like in the 2 path, I would hope. And hopefully just this one has a target and is able to kind of just finish it off.
Yeah. The thing with him is he hadn't really done anything before that race. So, obviously he was 12-1 in that race for a reason. And if he was, really something low, like low single digits, I think I would maybe, steer clear. I think I would demand a price on this horse. Jackson, let's go to this horse. You've got this horse in second. There's another one that Ryan and I don't have in the mix. This is the 6, Rashid. It's got to be Rashid.
Rashid.
Dropping to his lowest level ever. He's been in main 50, main 35, hasn't run in main 25, but he will on Saturday.
Yeah. And again, I'm trying to fade that common race. I thought that race was terrible, especially the 8. The 8, I thought the 8 was going to win for fun watching the replay, and then I don't know how he didn't win. Plus, it was Saya's in the stretch, and he had the lead, and he got passed. That just never happened. So I don't need that horse. This horse has excuses. A 1-3 back, you press the hot pace from post 11. I can excuse that a little bit. The run 2 back was really good. He was clearly the second best to a runaway winner that has come back to win again. And then last time, it just no shot with that ride. I don't know. I like Gonzalez a lot in the turf, but I don't know what he was doing from that spot. He just parked him 4 wide, both turns, and just gave up kind of the last furlong. So I think the margin of defeat was a little exaggerated. You kind of mentioned slightly easier, has more speed than he showed last time. So hoping he gets back to that good form he showed 2 and 3 back on the grass. And if he does, he should be pretty tough in this spot.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a tough race and one that many of the players will be spreading in. This is the 11. This is the horse that you and I, Ryan, have in second. It was another one that's coming out of the common race. Was a little far out of it. Came closing nice. Certainly going to take money with the first time gelding. Tyler hops on. It's Safi on Saturday. He's going to be a low price. I think, either you use him and use a couple others, or you just use a bunch and maybe try and beat him. Would that be a logical way to go about it?
Yeah, it would. I'm using him in the coast to coast. He's that horse I don't trust enough to single, but is probably going to win at like 4 to 5. So, whatever. I like some other prices in here, so I can throw him in. He's a logical horse just because of the connections. You have to respect him here at Gulfstream. Safi just knows how to have him ready, but certainly seems beatable. But maybe the first time gelding, the extra weight off might put this one in the winner's circle. Who knows?
I like it. It's not going to be much weight, but
a little more aerodynamic though. So
might make the difference. This is kind of the same thought where if I don't want a low price on the 8, I definitely don't want a low price on this horse because number 1, he finished behind the 8, and then number 2, for all the reasons I mentioned, he's going to be so low. So I would be a little skeptical. I'd probably use him in the coast to coast Big 5, but very skeptical in terms of vertical bets, which I think makes our 3 a little more appealing, Ryan, and maybe Jackson 7 or some other horses that people find interesting. So I think it's a little bit of a sneaky tough race, and I think people will definitely be spreading. But in race 12, I'm going 3, 11, 8. Ryan's also going 3, 11, 8, and Jackson is 7, 6.
Ryan has no mind of his own. He does it again. The 3rd consecutive race, man. I don't know.
I don't even see your guys' picks. I don't get this. I don't get the hate.
Can we go 4 for 4?
I don't want to go 4 for 4.
Race 6 at Santa Anita, allowance option claiming 80,000, purse of 69,000. 6 furlongs on the turf course. Field of 8. Morning line favoritism all the way to the outside in the 8. Tigeron for Rispoli and Mark Glatt. Picks are going to be up on the screen now. I'm going 5, 8, 4. Ryan going 3, 8, 5, and Jackson going.
Now who copies each other?
8, 1.
Jerks.
Ryan, I got to go with you because Jackson, we were talking about this earlier in the show. There is one key point on the 3 that I think you and I are both wanting to hear if Ryan says it, and I think we're going to hear it. So Ryan, kick us off with the 3 Vlahos.
Am I gonna say it? I have no idea. I just know Edwin's gonna send like a banshee from the gate. They wanted to get this horse on turf last time, and I just think he fits here. He was entered in a stake last time. He won that off the turf event. Gets entered back in here in a spot that he fits, and I mean he's gonna send, and he'll be good. So what is the point
That's
that you wanted me to bring up?
You were gonna mention that he won last time.
Oh.
look at the field that he beat. He's a 3-horse.
I mean. Hey, 3-horse field. Who knows? There's got to be a winner in somewhere. But yeah, no, I'm aware that the second place finisher finished 33.5 lengths in front of Hamwood Flyer. That is certainly not a race that you want to put any merit into. But hey, at least the horse got into the winner's circle, so it can build some confidence with the horse.
For shits and gigs, let's just look at this. Bognick.
I mean,
came back with a 92.
Look at that.
Hey. 6 in that race.
Hey, that's what I call a live race. Okay, or
no, but the thing is, I don't entirely hate the pick because number one, I think there's a decent amount of speed, but I think he's the speediest to the inside. So I think Maldonado can just kind of go and outbreak everybody and kind of take his chances. And then number two, the closers I like, but I don't really trust. Like, I think the main threat would be this horse, but I don't know if he's really the same at 6 as he is at 5. So I don't know. In kind of a weird way, I kind of like the pick. And
if this race was going 5 furlongs at Del Mar, I probably would have singled the 8. But I mean,
yeah,
we're not there. We're going 6. And the last time we saw this Santa Anita turf course take a lot of rain, when it started to dry out, it was all speed. So I'm feeling like Edwin's just going to send to the front, and that's probably going to be all she wrote.
Well, Jackson, Tigueron's races are good, but like I said, I maybe it was just, I don't know, maybe he wasn't as good at the time when he was going back to 6 because he hasn't run at 6 for a while. Obviously, we like him. It's just hard to imagine him not getting a good setup, right?
It is. I do question if he's as good at 6 as he is at the flat 5 at Del Mar. I mean, the 1 for 11 record at Santa Anita kind of speaks for itself. You can go back to the very bottom of the page, August 23rd. He runs at 81, comes back to Santa Anita and 2 subpar efforts immediately after that. So, but then again, there's a strong one not too far after. So it's kind of a toss up for me. It was the question of the distance as well as the outside post isn't ideal necessarily. It was enough to make me have enough questions where I didn't want to put him on top.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. This is a horse that I know you're very interested in, Jackson. This is the 5. We're in trouble, and hopefully we're not in trouble if this horse gets a job done because I think you should get an okay price. 7-2 on the line. Only 3 career starts, 2 for 2 at Santa Anita, which I do like. And what else did you like about this one?
He's just 2 for 2 sprinting, and in a field that I have a lot of questions about everyone. I have the same question about the 4. I don't think he wants to go any more than the flat 5. The 3, they're just throwing things at him and hoping something will stick. That's not a very big sign of confidence for me. Even the horse like the 2 for Mandela is cutting back from 9 furlongs to 6. Just a lot of weird things happening in this race. And I think this is kind of the one I wanted to land on because he is undefeated sprinting. I know he runs well fresh. And that race 2 back down the hill was really, really impressive, I thought. It was a day where he beat me for a lot of money. And I was really annoyed about it. And I went back and looked at it. And I'm like, well, he just ran really well. The race completely fell apart. The 2nd, 3rd, 4th place finishers all came from way out of it. And it was a super productive race. You go back and look who came out of that race, and a lot of them ran well. We saw, I think Tiger Hunt was actually in that race, as well as
he was.
They came back to run 1-2 with improved buyer. Halfway line came back to win a really strong allowance race right there at Del Mar. On the whim, came back to win a stakes race at Del Mar. So just a lot of good form coming out of that race. And then, you can excuse the one in the Oceanside where he was right up on the pace. It was going a little bit further than he probably wants. And he actually ran perfectly fine in that spot. He just hasn't been seen since. So it's a matter of, is he ready off of the bench? And I think that's the biggest question because I do think going the 6 furlongs at Santa Anita, he's probably the best horse in the field.
It's a shame that we couldn't have the sequence out earlier because I think Ryan might be able to find that out for us if you could send a little message to our good friend Michael McCarthy.
I'm not going to bother him with a horse like this. It's reserved for the journalism and formidable mans of his barn.
Yeah, you gotta save your shouts when.
He's a busy enough guy.
Yeah, but no, I agree with everything you said. I think maybe the one negative, if I'm being a little picky, is the 3, 4, and 6, who are all the horses around him, are going. So I don't know if there's just a small chance that I might put him in a really weird spot, just kind of check. But if he gets out of there cleanly and those two just kind of go and there's no riffraff or whatever, he's going to be sitting right behind him. So I think it's going to be in a really good spot. Would you like that, Ryan? Riffraff?
Yeah, that was something.
Whatever. Let's go to this horse. Jackson, you've got this one in third. 30-1 on the line, Navy Jack. Ryan pointed out before the show that on debut lost to an absolute superstar. I know Charlie would agree with that statement. This is the one, Navy Jack. What would you like about this one?
It's just a crazy underneath horse. I kind of mentioned I just have a lot of questions about everyone else in the field. So I don't mind putting this horse at a crazy price in the third or fourth spot. He actually took a lot of money in that stateside debut, and there's some good horses in that race. For Middle Millman, we know what he's coming back to do. Rossman Vibe at the time was decent. So, he obviously didn't run that great, but took a year off after. So something happened. And if he's working well and can get back to that good overseas form, I don't see why he can't pick up a piece at a massive number.
Yeah, no, I like it. Last horse that we'll touch on is the one that I've got in third, Boss Sully, 3-1 on the line. Obviously, I got this horse in third. My boy Armando Ayuso. So this is another one where he's a little bit like the 8, where I think he's better at 5 than at any other sprint distance, which is why I'm a little skeptical. He's got some really good numbers on the page. Go back to August 17th at Del Mar, an 89 off of the bench, into the 90 last time in the Stormy Liberal at a big price. So he's just been kind of running with the best and the best. Unconquerable Keen and Sorrento Sky would be what price in this race? I think they would be pretty low. So that's why I've got him in third. Another speedy type, but I think they probably sit and take over at the top of the stretch. So that's why I've got him in the mix.
And
even if that horse is better at 5, when you have a jockey like Armando Ayuso on his back, that's the third best in the colony. Forget what the stats say. If Noah says something like that, he's a must use.
Yeah, Ayuso's getting to that point where it's kind of like Pratt. He's automatically just upgrade the horse. You just gotta toss him in and take it or two,
I'm not even gonna respond to that. I stand on business.
No, you don't, bro.
Your ticket this weekend would say otherwise.
Whatever. Last race in the sequence, race 7, 4:10 local time. This is everybody's favorite race. This is a 5,000 nominators to 2 lifetime for restricted Northern California horses, purse of 15,000, 6 furlongs on the main track. This is the only race on the main track. And there's actually one scratch already. The 7, our expectation, the Washington bred. But still a field of 10. And morning line favorite is all the way to the inside in the 1, Roy Hobbs for Hugo Herrera and Maravilla. Did I say that right, Jackson?
Sure.
Maravilla. Good enough?
Good enough.
So let's go ahead and get our picks up on the screen. I'm going 8-11-3. Ryan going 11-1-3, and Jackson going 8-11-2. Jackson, we'll go back to you because we do have the winner of the race. That's the 8, Irma Linda's Fancy Calbred for Espinoza and Rodriguez. Hoping we get every bit of that 4-1.
Yeah, Noah's very excited for this race for a very specific reason, but I do think this 8 has a good shot. I think it's a 3-horse race. I think it's between the 1, 8, and 11 for the top honors. And the 1 and 11 are coming off some pretty significant layoffs. So I want to give the recency edge to this horse who's drawn pretty well on the outside, coming out of a much tougher race where he ran fine. I mean, he had a tough rail draw. The rail's not been good this meet at Santa Anita. Had a little bit of trouble in the turn and, ran a respectable number. Now he's drawn towards the outside. He has the speed to be forwardly placed. And, his major competition have to overcome the layoff. So I think at 4-1, that's a pretty fair price. I'd put him on top pretty confidently, I think.
No, I love it. I agree with everything you said. I thought the non-winners or 2 lifetime, the 16 Clamor was just from a field perspective was a lot better than looks like he's facing today. Right. So I think he does have the class edge, the recency edge, like you said. So I am in quite the agreement with you on the 8. Ryan, you actually don't have this horse anywhere, but we will go to a horse that you do have and that we actually all 3 have. This is the 11, Laura's Kiddo, 9-2 on the line for Kyle Frey and Dan Markle. Would you?
Yeah, I just want to lead off real quick by saying I was catching a lot of shade saying that I was copying picks, but Noah and Jackson had the same exact like 3 of these 5
the difference
races.
Is this is great minds think alike. Before you were just.
What do you mean? This guy's colder than my freezer.
And this is a 10-horse field, right? Even though it is 3-horse race, but whatever.
All right. Well, anyway, yeah, the 11 Laura's Kiddo. I'm going to use this horse because the 2 and 3 back Everett's, I think, win. His one. Excuse me. Laura's Kiddo's whatever. His one sprint effort going 6 furlongs. I think wins here. Definitely has to get back to the fast track because I'm just going to draw a line through that sloppy track effort because I don't think that's what she likes to do. Obviously, 1 for 16 is a concern, but none of these guys are world beaters in here. This one's also off a layoff, as Jackson mentioned, but going to be to the outside. So hoping just for a clear trip, and that's pretty much it. But I'm just trying to beat the 1 here. So I like the 11 a lot on top.
No, it looks like we're all in agreement trying to beat the 1. Let's go to the 1. But before we talk about this horse, I have to bring up this comment from Jim Pilares. He says, the movie The Natural was filmed in my hometown with Robert Redford starring as Roy Hobbs, so that would have to be my hunch play. Question to you guys is, do you even know what that movie is? Have you ever heard of it? Because I haven't. I have no idea.
I have not. I'll look it up right now, though. Hold on.
Yeah, I have not heard it either. So, yeah.
Well, then that means Jim cast his best bet of the day because he said that no one else.
Kind of like that pitcher that ran a couple weeks ago. I had no idea who he was. Oh, he won like 6 Cy Young awards or, whatever it was.
Yeah. What was
I
like?
I can't remember the horse won or not, but I do remember talking about it.
I can't remember the guy's name either.
Yeah, I can't
either. I knew he was a pitcher. That's all I got.
No, it wasn't.
The 1, Roy Hobbs, 2-1 on the line, morning line favorite. This is one we haven't seen in 20 months. 20 months? Does that work? Oh, who is that?
It's a baseball movie. So maybe we should.
Oh, it is a baseball movie. Oh, sweet. Perfect topic. But this is a horse racing podcast, so we should probably start with horse racing. Ryan, you're the only one that's got this one horse in the mix. Are you just gonna trust that those numbers from way back kind of put him through? I mean, he isn't for 5, but at some point, that class is going to take over at some point, right?
Yeah, that mixed with the fact that these California restricted races have just been so formful that I'd feel dumb not having this one of my top 3, just because it just seems like there have been horses with terrible form recently on paper, but they get to this level and they've just faced better, and they just managed to show up and they beat those horses. Clearly, this horse has faced the best competition, so I'm going to take him in second, but I have I'm a pretty firm believer in the 11, to be honest, in Laura's Kiddo. So I'll use the 1 a little bit underneath, but it's or the 1 underneath, but it's the 11 for me on top.
I really wish it was the first race of the sequence.
First race.
The first race of the sequence, so that I could know how this horse is being bet, because I really have no idea what to do with this horse. But we'll see. We'll see what the payouts are when they come out after the 4th leg.
Real quick, I will say I think it's a little concerning that he is in for the tag when a horse like the 11, they put the waiver on him. I just think it's not a great sign that they're like, here, take him for $5,000 when he looks like he's a complete standout and could run back at this level.
No, I missed that. That's a good point. Who else do we need to touch on?
The 3 and the 2.
But yeah,
and Sir Lucas.
he's not watching anyway, so we don't need to touch on. You got this horse, Jackson, the 2, Lurking Fear, 8-1. He's got a couple races, which I know is your favorite angle, the 1,000 yard to the 1,000 yard plus, or 1,000 yard, aka 1.5 furlong races.
Yes.
It's your favorite angle. Blinkers on
is a bit of a stretch, but
yeah. Blinkers on for Ramirez and for Rios.
Yeah, this is an underneath play for me. I don't think he's a major win contender, but if you're looking for someone to key like 3rd, I think this is one you could definitely use because he's pretty consistent. He runs that, upper 40s, maybe low 50s buyer pretty much every time. And that's kind of around what it's going to be to be competitive in here. And I do think he's going to have a better go up. He was pretty wide last time. I think this time he's going to be drawn towards the inside, blinkers going on, and just likely to get that mid-pack trip and kind of just hang in there when a lot of these are kind of getting tired late.
No, I like it. Horse to the outside is the one that I've gotten 3rd. The 3, Travel the Mat, Escobedo, and a Red Hot to McKenna, as I referred to earlier. This is one where in his last 2, he's just kind of gotten some weird trips, and he hasn't necessarily been ridden to the style I think he has had success at. You go 3 back. He was on the lead and ran a nice second at claiming 16 non-winners at 2. And then the last 2, 35, just nothing went right. But he was betting a little bit that day, and then stretched out to a mile, was super wide, just kind of threw in the towel. I think you're going to know early on if this one's got a shot. So if Escobedo's got him at the gate and got him at the lead, I think he could be a force in the race. So got him in third. Actually, Ryan, you've got him in third. Why don't you talk about him as well?
Yeah, I think the jockey switch to Escobedo is going to make a difference. He's going to get that horse out of the gate, and I think this runner does his best running on the front end. So it was a logical underneath play for me. Again, strongest opinion goes to the 11. But I like the 3 underneath, kind of my underneath key horse, if he can get back to the kind of on the lead form, because that's clearly what he needs. He is just horrific when he's not.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Katie, thirsty for winners. Very thirsty for winners.
Yeah.
You gotta start heating up. We got a big weekend, bro.
Yeah, it is quite the big weekend. Maybe we can get some little bankroll on the side with this little wager right here. Jackson, your coast to coast pick 5 is 1-2 with 1-5 with 3-6-7 with 5 with 8-11. Now I actually forgot to put the cost, so maybe I could do the math real quick.
$24.
Whoa, $24. $24 ticket. Take it away.
Yeah, good job on the math, guys. I thought this was a tough sequence. I really did. It's probably not one I want to spend too much money on. I'd much rather play them individually, just because I think it's going to be kind of tough to connect the dots. Let's see. Pull up those racers real quick. Yeah, that Gulfstream race, the first one, just trying to get through with those 2 inside runners. Looking at that field, they all look kind of the same, and I think they both have that forward trip you want to see on the Gulfstream turf course. So they're going to try to get by with just those 2. Race 4 on the turf. Again, we're trying to beat Ultimate High in that spot. She's had her chances. I'm kind of sick of her. Her last 5 races. I'm done. Going to try to get by with the 5, who we all like at 6-1. That's nothing is forever from off the pace. And then Princess Del Tigre from the rail. I think she'll be the one that's going to be forwardly placed in that spot. Third leg, that's Noah's favorite race, the $25,000 claimer at Gulfstream. And again, I think that common race is just really, really bad. I'm tossing everyone out of that race, going 3, 6, 7, all coming out of tougher, all have numbers that make them pretty competitive. So hoping that's going to be enough to lock it up. And then my single is the McCarthy horse. I'm a big fan of that horse. I think he has, the least amount of questions to answer in that field. It's just, is he ready off the bench? And the way the McCarthy barn is going right now, I think you can pretty confidently say he probably is, especially when JJ bothers to show up. So going to try to get by with that one. That'll be my big play on the side as well. Just nice big win bet on that horse. Hopefully it gets the job done. And then the last race, again, I think it's a 3-horse race, and I think there's reasons to doubt the 1 horse is going to show up. So going to go 8-11 in there and hope that's enough.
Yeah, I like it. I think that's a good construction. Obviously, now that you're part of the show, you'll get your fair share of doubles and win bets, and because we do best bets instead of tickets most of the time,
right?
Except when it's coast to coast. It's a special occasion. I got to bring this up, Jim. Yes, I am waiting. Please don't tell my mom, but I think she's actually going to be watching this on a replay, so she'll probably call me after and tell me, why didn't you get your hair cut? So deal with it. Ryan, your coast goes pick 5, 1-2-7 with 1-5 with 3-8-11 with 3-8 with 11. Single on the end. Quick math, my guy.
$36.
Take it away.
Yeah, going 1-2-7. My top 3 choices in the first leg. As you took it down, so I no longer remember what my coast to coast pick. I'm just kidding. I have it. Going to my top 3. I got it. I'm just messing with you. But went 1-2-7 in the first leg at Gulfstream. I thought those are the 3 most logical, at least to me. Next leg, I'm going 1-5 out at Santa Anita. I thought both those runners made a ton of sense on turf. Obviously, the 1 horse to beat Princess Del Tigre, and then the 5 Nothing is Forever with Kyle Frey aboard. We head back out to Gulfstream. I'm gonna go 3-8-11. I don't love that common race that they're coming out of either, but it feels like it's either one of those where those horses are going to run 1-2 or they might not show up. And if they don't show up, I'm going to take the 3, and that's the Dylan Davis, Antonio Sano getting first-time blinkers. But if that horse doesn't show up, I'll take the 8 and 11 underneath. Next race, I'm going 3-8, but you guys made some really good points on the number 5, especially Jackson. So I'll likely listen to that come coast to coast and toss that 3 in there. And honestly, I'll probably likely toss the 8 just because, I want to keep it around $36. But I do really like Vlahos in there. That's still going to be my top pick. I think they think really highly of that horse, and hopefully he just gets back to his winning ways first time on turf. And then last leg, going with the 11, draws to the outside, faces some significant class relief, hopefully gets a fast track. They're running this one for the waiver, which means they still want to have this horse around the barn. And that's also all systems go for me, and you can't say that about the horse on the rail. The number 1, Roy Hobbs, that's also coming off a substantial layoff. So single in the 11 at the end for a nice little $36 ticket.
I like it. I like the single, as you will see in my ticket. So good luck with that. My coast to coast pick 5. Okay, you guys could leave now. 1 with 1-5 with 3-8-11 with. I was talking about the viewers. Okay, they don't need to. 1 with 1-5 with 3-8-11 5-8 with 8. Single on the front end, single on the back end. Single on the front end is the. What did you say?
I said bookends. They call that
bookends. Yeah. Single moving on up in the first leg, and then single the 8, which I think Jackson and I both had. I can't remember the name right now. But yeah, I'm going to be in Vegas this weekend, of course. So I got to save my money for the blackjack table, the craps table. I think Kyle was trying to teach me some Pai Gow. So I don't know how to play Pai Gow. I don't play Pai Gow. So got to save some money for that. So just a small $12 ticket. $12 ticket for me. So if you want winners, write that one down.
Dog, that's not even enough for a hand of blackjack.
No,
right.
That's not even half a hand of blackjack.
Not enough. Final banner is up. And final thoughts, Jackson, I'll throw it to you. And I'm going to say what's down under your name. You better be going to Vegas, my friend. I better see you there.
Hey, man, after this, I'm going to look into the flights, and I'm looking at the car rentals, and we're going to see if it's worth it. But we're going to try to make it out. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Ryan, we're going to do our best to get him out. And I think the fact that if you're able to qualify on Thursday, I think that that might be the kind of deciding factor, right?
Yeah, so catch me in the NHC Friday through Sunday, because I'm gonna go give it my all to qualify on Thursday, and then Jackson will be out there enjoying Vegas with us. So that's absolutely the goal going in. I also worth mentioning, clearly I'm doing something right over on the Gallop Out, because we got both people that do the shows now on this channel. So given we were bought for $0, so maybe I got to do some work at the negotiating table, but. Happy to be here. This is a good group. This is a good show.
Yeah, it's hopefully one of many, because that'll definitely go down in history books as one of my favorite shows. But that's gonna wrap things up for our new co-host Jackson Muniz, and of course normal co-host, not special, Ryan Anderson. This has been your host Noah Meagher. Episode 22, Pacific Horseplayers, covering the Coast to Coast Pick 5 for Saturday, March 15th. Good luck to everyone out there this weekend at Vegas at the NHC, and make sure you check out all of our shows this week. But until next time, PHP out.